here we've saved a moment in time, and the moment in time that we've saved is what this terrible design looked like when I decided I was through with it for the day. Yeah, that's bad. So let's zoom out and we'll recap what we were trying to do here. So this is a notebook sketch, which is fine to start with. But if we're going to go through this much effort of tracing a bitmap, adjusting nodes, it should not be for text. Not unless the text in this sketch is perfected and you want it to be exactly like that. And if that is the case, then you're going to take a much better picture of this with much higher contrast where we can clearly see what is black and what is white. This is a grayscale image and there's just too much value to get the kind of results that we're after. So because this is a text-only image, we're just going to go look for some typography to match it. I want to find a few different options for working for this brand. Old Punks Club, the Revel clothing label. These details aren't really important, but the thing that matters here is we want to start defining who this brand is with the fonts, and it's probably not just going to be one font. So we're going to do a sweep through here and see what we can get. Let's look at the reference. So this is a serif. These are serifs. So we want definitely something display. This almost looks like kind of a Western font to me. What's angular? No, I don't like that. Square. Poster. I've got too many. Get angular off there and take square off. So let's just look at display and poster as filters. Okay, so now that we have this font, what we want to do here, we haven't changed anything, so we're going to close this. It's an important part. We've downloaded the font. Let's find that. Diplomata zip. True type, true type. Select both of these. Oh, you gotta extract it. Install. You don't have to extract it. There's one. Install. I'm thinking this is gonna get quick brown. Where's the rest of it? That L, yeah. I feel good about this. So we've got Diplomata regular installed. Let's just do like a quick little more run through here again. See if I really like this too. I'm gonna go ahead and download it. Maybe one more just for fun. So we're looking at stuff like this, which is kind of tattoo artish in my design, in my opinion. So let's see if we can drill down a little more into this and ask tattoo fonts popular. Black letter. Let's look at images. Incognito, tattoo font, tattoo lettering. Brawick Sailor tattoo font. Astolfo. Free commercial use. Chopin, tribal. Brother tattoo, black letter. Let's look at images. Gothic tattoo. Sailorette. I like that. Rose tattoo font. I hate effortless tattoo. Alright, you get the idea. We're looking for names of fonts or ideas for fontalizing. I like this. We're looking for serifs on the top and in the middle. Like the most possible serifs you can put on a font is what we want. I like this too. I gotta stop. This is just getting out of control at this point. This is crazy. Not quite what I'm going for. Alright, I'm only gonna look at one more page. Man, that's it. There's nothing on here that I want. Alright, closing it down. Now let's look and see what all we downloaded. What? Yeah. Oh, they were two different ones. Let's get the Verve. Open. Install. 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 Okay, that was the Verve. Westyard free trial. What's this? Read me. Open. Okay, install. Install. I already have it installed. They're the same thing. Alright. So close that. Moving on. Rialto. I think these are the same thing. Let's see. Install. Yeah, they're the same. Alright, we got Rialto. Moving on to Prita. So we want this. Install. I'm gonna be careful with all of these fonts and not use them as actual fonts. Now that we have all the fonts installed, we can reopen Inkscape. Okay, now let's see if we can track those down in here. Now, brief introduction to the font tool, typography tool. We're going to spell this out. E-R capital V E capital L. Would help if we could see it. This already looks a million times better than what we did right here, and it doesn't even have anything fancy on it. I could actually probably use just this basic serif font to create this, to recreate this. Let's do that. I mean, again, I want to look at those other fonts too. Let's make a copy of this, and we're gonna make, we'll make a few different versions of it. So we're gonna look for, what was the first one? Let's look for Rialto first. That one looked pretty cool. I mean, see, we've got Prita 36, Prita 65, Rialto, NF is right there. Alright. That looks terrible. It's not terrible, it's just, there's no uppercase, lowercase, it's all caps. So we looked at Rialto. Let's do the Prita 36 here. Another all caps. Oh, I had two of them. Let's do that one. Interesting. Alright. Control C, Control V. want to now see West Yard. The one I was perfectly willing to buy, but they want to play hard to get, so that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was that it? I know there's another one, but is it even worth looking at? Verve. Oh yeah, Verve was just for me. Now, as this is right now, this is a text element and it maintains text properties. Like that is a letter R, that is a letter E, V, so on. They are letter forms, recognized as letters, readable as letters by a computer. A computer understands this is a font, this, well, let's be more specific, by this computer application. This computer application realizes this is a text element. Woof, this thing, honestly, I've spent so much time on it, I don't want to let it go, so we're going to put that over here. This we no longer need. So here's where our focus is. Now, how do we get this R to look like this R? And how can we work on these a little more individually? This font we're going to try to use to recreate this. I'm feeling pretty confident about it. Momentarily forgot what the name of the font is, so let's just type one simple R. I'm getting super annoyed. That's it, right? Yeah, it's the same one. Alright, let's move this up here. It's just for reference. This one... How are we gonna make this guy look like this guy? And in not a lot of time. Path, object to path, nodes. Let's put this down here where we can see it. Now, we need it to look like something's growing out of here, right? Let's zoom in a lot. We're going to add new nodes here so that we can extrude this from here. So we're going to click on this one. We're going to hold down Shift and click on the second one. And then we're going to pull this. Zoom out, Control, scroll down. Let's look at our reference. What do we need this thing to do? We need it to go womp, and then we need it to go wing wall. And then a whoo right there in the middle. Right? Okay, so that's 3 tails coming off of this. I probably pulled that out a little too much. Let's push it back in some. Alright, let's start on the wee wah on the top. So if we need 3 tails, 1, 2, 3. So the first one goes here. Second one's on the bottom. And how is it going to work in the middle? Because this is going to go out. And this has to have a place to go out from, right? So we're going to put a third tail here. So we have 1 set, 2 set, 3 set. Now in the middle of each of these, zoom in some more. We're going to add 1 more. 1, 2, 3. Let's pull this one out. Tail number 1. Pull this one out. Tail number 2. And pull this one out. Tail number 3. Zoom out. That looks stupid. I know it looks stupid. We're gonna fix it though. Now we realize this might be kind of messed up. Maybe we pulled them out a little too much. So we're gonna zoom in, control, scroll up. We're gonna rubber band around these. We're gonna hold down control and then we're gonna slide this in. Notice how it moves on a straight line. Well, it's trying to because I have the control held down. Now deselect, so now we're just gonna work on one at a time. So the first one goes, like it goes up, right? Let's look at it again. It goes, whoop. So we're gonna take this guy up here, and this guy up here. It needs an elbow. Is that enough? It's too much, really. It needs to be more like this. But we want this to be smooth, and we learned in the last episode we can make things auto smooth by using this node tool. Make selected nodes auto smooth. Woo. Now we need another one that goes wow wow, like wow, like that, right? Oh no, it goes shwoo. Shwoo. Zoom in. We need more room here. And we're gonna need like a few elbows. And it's gotta go up, right? Why is this so hard for me to remember? It's curving up and around. Real quick, I know that looks crazy. I'm fully aware. This is part of the process for me. It's just really going through a lot of this and figuring out what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. And I don't know, in this new version, some things don't work the way that they used to. I probably should have just stuck with the version that I had, but then my tutorial wouldn't be current or relevant. I don't know what's up with that, like why you can't do that anymore. It's really weird. I used to be able to take the whole text, you know, REVEL. So that is a text object. And then if you ungroup it, then you're left with those 5 separate letters and you can work on them individually, which is a huge part of my process, but now I gotta figure something else out. Not fun, not fun. Minor setback though. Alright, let's get back to this. So I know this looks kind of silly, kind of like a mess, but just bear with me. I gotta give myself some space here to add some little curly points, more or less. So we're gonna put some right here, we're gonna put some right here, and right here. And probably go ahead and put them right here too. Now that doesn't look great, right? It needs to be doing other things. We can mess with this a little bit. If we select all of these nodes, we're going to pull them all down at the same time. So we've got a whee-wah here, we've got a whoo right here, but I kind of want to, it still looks like super stretched out to me. So you want to select all of these. Let's squeeze them in a little bit. Can I rotate that? That kinda, yeah. Okay, let's zoom in and fix this last piece. Let's pull this down so we can, or pull it in a little. Pull this down. Like, what are we going for here? We want to cut this out and then this part of the R needs to come through and kind of taper off. So we're gonna have to break up this path a little right here. We're gonna use a pen tool here. Just do a real simple shape. Now we're gonna use selection tool. Hold down shift. Now we have the R and the little shaped. Control shift minus pulls that little shape out of the R. Oh, we got this little bump. It's okay, we can fix it. Zoom in. Matter of fact, zoom out real quick. So how are we going to execute? We want this part, the R, the curvy part, to kind of extend past through the main leg, right? So we want to take these two, this guy and this guy, and kind of move them over to the left. But we still want to maintain, if I move this whole line is going to move. So we need to add a little bit of that here. So take this, and oh, it's still working that way. We don't need that one selected. We just want the top one selected, and we're going to move them together. This guy, we're going to move on his own. So we're going to select him only, hold down control, and slide this down so that it remains straight. We want to keep this looking the same. It's only this part that we want to look a little different. This is kind of ridiculous. Here we go. I just want it to be like a little less complicated. Well, not F12, delete. I want it to look a little less fussy. Like, this is too much fuss, you know? Like, put your little notches on there, put your little serifs on there, but you don't need to go crazy. Here, it kind of curves down. But I need this to make sense visually, you know? Like, it can't be super fat right here and then all of a sudden get real skinny. So this part needs to come up. How are we gonna do that? You can take all of this. 1, 2, 3. Just these three. Shift, shift. That, am I not? Is it control? No. Let me rubber band these little guys. 1, 2, 3. I want to move these up so that this part becomes thinner. Now we've got this curvy thing happening right here and a curvy thing right here. I don't know how I feel about that because it really does make it look more like a bee that has its butt chopped off. So how can we maintain the R of this shape? And kind of capture the idea that we see over here. And we've also got like some severe sizing problems here. Can we squeeze this in a little? Make this less boxy. Not less bossy. Less boxy. Alright. This is looking a little better to me. I just gotta make this curvy a little. Well, let's add another node here. Grab these two. Make them auto smooth. Now pull this down. Move this in and up. And then pull that down. And that's... ugh. I feel like it needs more on the end, like something like that. Some of these are just a little too sharp for my taste. This, again. Oh, this is gonna drive me nuts. So let's go ahead and fix what we can here. The stroke on that gets too thin too soon. This gets dragged out way too much. Bring it in. These need to be pulled back like that. This is wobbly now. Okay. What is this shading here? Like, what are we supposed to do with that? What if I just erase everything in here? We know we're gonna have to do something like that on the feet and right around here. This is super thin up at the top. This is really like fat. So let's see if we can fix that. That means pretty much all of this stuff needs to go upwards. So we're gonna hold down Control with all those selected and just very gently push upwards. This is bad. Let us fix. Any better? No. Better? Slightly. So we have a swoop, we've got a hook, we've got we got a mess. That's okay. Let's embellish this mess. Let's add some transparency here. So if this is a black shirt and this is white lettering, then we would want to see the color of the shirt where we see these open spaces. That's how I'm interpreting this design anyway. Am I getting this quite right? Like, I think this needs to come up a little more. Probably this one too. That guy I want to stay right there, so let's hold Control and push these up. There we go. Now this part I think can come down a little bit. Alright, let's carry on. Let's grab a pen tool and cut out some feet from here. Control Shift minus. Grab the pen tool again. We're creating paths on top of paths and then deleting the difference between the two. And it's okay if it's a little wobbly when you first do it, Control Shift minus, because you can edit that. This is funky, but it's not terrible. Alright, we want to add this part. This part cracks me up, I'm not gonna lie. Like, what is this? A gradient? What are we doing? Alright, let's put some little strips in here. Actually, I want to use the rectangle tool for this. I don't want to draw, because I know this is going to be straight. Even though here it doesn't look very straight. Now I have an idea. So I want to take this, make it pink so I can see it. Select this whole thing, Control Shift minus. Oh, I didn't get the bottom part. So let's Control Z and do it again. Take this, make it a tiny bit longer. select both of these, Control Shift minus. Okay. Now this part right here. Okay. Yeah, let's let's make it a gradient. We're gonna take this and just run it to the edge right here. Zoom like way in so we can see what we're doing. Use the selector tool. We want the stroke on the left, and that's this black part. We want that to be thick enough, like it needs to make sense, but not too thin. And this is the pink part represents the gradient part. So we're gonna run this all the way across. Okay. I'm probably gonna end up undoing this. We're gonna use the gradient tool, this guy, and we're gonna set our anchor here on the left because that's the part that we want to be dark. Like that. Okay. Okay, so that's the first gradient, but I don't want it, there we go. Let's fix this. I don't want it to be like that. There we go, that's better. This creates such a hard line here. This is just really isn't what we want. Make this black, and let's try it again with the gradient tool. It's so bad. Like it needs to be here. Kind of like that. No. Okay, here's how we're gonna fix this. Grab the node tool, get this, and this one. No, not that. Get this one, hold down shift, and get this one on the bottom. Now hold control and slide these guys like way back to over here. Go back to the select tool, grab this gradient, and then pull this way. Now make sure this lines up down here perfectly. Is that what we want here? What would this look like? You can do gradients and printing, sure. Do you want to? It's up to you. This is still bothering me though. I just feel like I can do better than this. Pull that hook in a little bit more. Okay, well what about this part? We need a gradient down here, right? Okay, simple enough. So let's take work that we just did, Control C, Control V. We'll slap that right there for a moment. Now we want another rectangle. Make it pink so we can see what we're doing. Zoom way in. We want this, it kind of needs to match up to the one that we have up there, and we can see we got like a mismatch in size on that. But all we're doing with this is using it to cut out some of our work. So we want to select the R, Control Shift minus, and now we have a new open space. And we can bring our new gradient piece and put that right here. Oh, it's too long, that's okay. We already know we can fix that. Okay, now what about this part? What happened here? Well, part of the problem is a mismatch in this height. I like to hold down control when I use these because I know this needs to be straight. Okay. Looks pretty good to me. what do we see here that is different? Well, right here we've got two lines and they both kind of have like a little bit of curve to them. Same here, they both should have some curve to them. But I'm gonna be totally honest, I think what I have here is fine as it stands, and I'm gonna leave it that way. The only thing that I do not like is this part, but I have some ideas on how I'm gonna fix that momentarily. Looks like we need a little strip right here removed. It's gonna be the best way to do that because it's so round. That doesn't look good. It's like it's meant to be kind of large right there. Okay, let's just go ahead and try to do it. It's not going to be that difficult. We know we want to start kind of like up here. Probably not going to need as many of these nodes as I'm making. We want to end like down here. Alright. Looks good. Take this. Everything that's not the topmost point or bottommost point really needs to be round. I know I missed one, but I'm probably going to delete it because I have way too many nodes on here. Can I fix that? What if I just make it look like that? There you go, it's fixed. Okay, now this. You know what comes next. We're going to use the select tool to select that. Hold down shift to hold down shift. What's happening? Hold down shift to select the rest of it. There we go. Control shift minus. Now we've got a little curvy piece missing. Oh, I don't like the way it looks. Let's fix it then. I don't like that either. Alright. Typography lesson 101 complete. I am not going to drag anybody through the rest of how to work this out. They're all nodes. Dang it. So you have to take this. E. This is the, no, that's Pamucci. How do you get the little if we look at this one, well, really we should look at this one. I don't like these little foot pieces on the E because it makes this look like a G. I think really it's like way too much work on the E. But it looks like it's got a little slice taken out here and it's got some embellishments. Like it busts through to the other side. It goes shwoo, and then has the G lip, which I'm not a fan of. It's also real skinny, so we would want to squish that in. And the roof of the E's mouth is down way too low, so we would have to bring that up. So we want a path, object path. So we take this middle part, hold control and slide it up. That looks crazy. I know. Okay, let's fix it though. What about the part where it comes out the side? Oh, you're right. Let's add that. I think I want this part to come in a little more. Alright, I think that's really about as detailed as I want to get into working with Inkscape and typography in this episode. A couple of things to take away here. That R and now that E belong to me now. I've modified them to the point where they look nothing like the original font. So if you get a font, download a font that says, oh, this is only free for your personal use or whatever, just convert it to a path and wiggle it around a little bit. Now it's your font. It's no longer the thing that you downloaded from the internet to use unfettered or whatever. So at this point, I'm going to shut this down. Just reviewing what I've put together so far, you should, if your mind has any creative ability whatsoever, you've probably had a million ideas of what you can do with just a very few simple Inkscape tools. I'll give you an example of a problem that I had to solve the other day at work, and Inkscape came in handy for me. I was putting together a web page for I was putting together a landing page for a website, and I needed an icon, really simple icon, a phone icon. And the phone icon was not provided for me in the project, so I had to go make my own. So I simply typed in phone icon into the Google image search, went to images, and then I found the one that I liked the most. And I was looking for one that had an outline on it, kind of like this, but I don't want the PNG checkered background because I am going to use the snipping tool to just grab a copy of it. The snipping tool is probably one of the most valuable pieces of software on this computer as far as graphic design goes. I'm pretty sure I went with this one. So we take the snipping tool, new. We just want to grab the inside of this. So now we have that selected. This is basically a PNG or a JPEG. We can save it to see what kind of format it saves in. Yeah, it's a PNG. But this PNG is not going to have any transparency. It's going to be exactly what we copied it as. But for Inkscape, you don't need to save the copy and then import it onto your canvas. This is what I love about the snipping tool. You just paste it right in there. There's a couple of other ways of bringing work onto the Inkscape canvas, like just dragging directly from your file explorer, depending on the file type. Some file types you can drag straight into there. If it's another SVG, you can drag it straight into the canvas. We're going to do a new one real quick because I don't really want to mess up this work. So this is the new document for the phone icon. We'll just do Control-Shift-D. A good icon size is going to be in pixels. We'll switch this from millimeters to pixels, and we're going to set this to 32 by 32. That's actually a pretty large icon. So we can close this and come in here, zoom a little more, and then paste. I might have to zoom out, yeah. So this is the image. I'm going to scale it down just a touch. And now we're already in trace bitmap mode, but we don't want to use brightness cutoff. We want to use auto trace and keep this very simple. Hit apply. So now we have our phone icon and there's no background. You can get rid of that. Now that we have this, we can change it to whatever color we can want. We could actually like give this thing a fill if we wanted to. Resize. For resizing proportionately, hold down the control button and simply change the size. Use your arrows to drag. When we fill an image like this, let's look at the nodes so we can see what we're looking at. When we add fill to this, what we're actually going to do is create a whole nother path inside of that phone shape that is a color. And I'll show you real quick what that looks like. So working with colors can be kind of tricky sometimes. So I like to make a few little squares or rectangles and then set up whatever colors I'm going to use in my designs. Let's see, here's like a orangish yellow one, and what else? And we'll do a green. Okay, now if I take this fill tool, which is right underneath the eyedropper tool, and just hover on this white area, what I'm telling Inkscape to do is to create me a shape that's the white shape, but make it green. So we click on that, and that's what we have. And if we go back to the pointer tool, we can actually remove this from the original. So it's not an exact fill. A fill is a little bit different. We can use the eyedropper to change colors. We can do the same thing for this one. So we have it selected, and we're going to use the eyedropper to give it a different color. And we want to see what the stroke looks like on this. Like, what if I wanted to add a stroke? Because right now, I'm pretty sure neither one of these have a stroke. So we'll go to stroke and see how we have the X there. We're going to add this. The stroke on that is intense and crazy. We'll add one here too. This one is like way more realistic. So from this, you could say, all right, now that I have this image, this one right here, which actually looks really good, I could make this my actual new phone icon, because you have a nice thin stroke. This one is just kind of crazy, and you're not committed to this color. You can remove this color. We just simply go to fill and hit the X, and now we have no color. And this is actually better quality than this version where we have a stroke. Take that off. See, if I wanted to make this outline of the phone smaller, I would have to edit all of these nodes, and the chances of it being even aren't very good. But this has a nice even stroke around it, and you can make it bigger if you want to. So we go to stroke style, set this to pixels. It's at 0.27. Let's change it to 1. And it's evenly increased all the way around. This is a super great thing to know if you're doing this kind of stuff. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for Inkscape for right now. I use this all the time in different parts of a graphic design process, whether it's solely working on designs or working on designs for web pages. There's a lot of prep that goes into it that this is super handy for. So